Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Neena Venkatesh, and I'm really excited about today's video because we have a guest here with us to discuss about his success journey in startup and also to share his thoughts and views and to enlighten a lot of us over here. To give a quick introduction about him, his name is Hari Ullody, who is a qualified CA by profession, who secured All India rank 25 in CA final examination in May 2018 attempt. And he's also successfully running two startups. One is a CA firm in Bangalore called HRU, where he started along with his other two friends. And then Zuna, which is providing finance and compliance services to startups. And I'm really excited to have him on our YouTube channel today. So without any further delay, let's welcome him. Hey Sri Hari.
Hello, hi Meena, how are you?
Hello, how are you doing?
Good.
And
For
thank you
the
so
opportunity.
thank you so much for coming over here. And I'm really excited about today's video. And
Yeah.
first of all, I gave a quick introduction about you, and I know you're a CA ranker. So how does it feel to be a CA ranker? Directly, I'm shooting this question.
I think as I mean 3 years, 4 years back when the results came, I was in next level of happiness. Over time, I think the happiness is coming down. But one thing that the rank has really helped me is to believe in myself that I can achieve more than what I thought I could. Initially, if I were to recollect from the CPT days, right?
Yeah.
I missed my rank by I think 4 5 marks. I never aimed for one. I didn't know. Maybe I knew I was not bothered about it. Generally, most of us coming thinking that CA is very tough, right? Our goal will be to clear and maybe to clear in the first attempt. So at least for me at that time, CPT and IPT, I missed rank by 4 or 5 marks, and it was never
Okay.
a regret or never a problem. At least when it came to final is when I put some conscious efforts. At least the goal was to get rank. So I think what entire process has made me, apart from of course some popularity when I go to my hometown, that is always there. But apart from it has given me the confidence that I can achieve something that I'm aiming for. I think that is the main. But I mean, it is something that I will carry for my lifetime. So
Okay. Has this CA rank added brand value to your name?
yeah, definitely. Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful to
And
hear.
also I got to participate in Meena's YouTube channel. No, that is
Oh my God. You don't have to feel overwhelmed about it because even otherwise I would have welcomed you because I see you achieving a great things. You're running successfully two startups, and I am seeing you growing. And I felt that everybody out there should know, right? Should know and learn from people who are succeeding in life and your business. So yes,
okay.
I understand that you directly got into CA practice immediately after your CA final. If I was there as an individual, maybe I would have given a thought. Maybe I would have, paused and thought that, you know what, I should get that financial stability, have some funds, and then get into practice. So, what made you start this journey immediately and quickly after CA final examination results?
Yeah, I think I'll be honest. The plan was something similar, more so when I got a rank, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that were coming my way were very attractive and all that. I would be lying if I was not tempted to take it. So
Okay.
I actually most of the people don't know. Maybe I attended a couple of interviews, uh,
Mm-hmm.
filtered it from the paying ones and all that back then, and
Okay.
paid me. I attended a couple of interviews, but I mean I somehow lacked that confidence to attend uh, such an interview. Maybe whatever somehow it didn't work out. And the initial plan was, of course, to build some capital base and maybe some client base as well. And
Yeah.
then, so I tried a couple of places which didn't work out. And looking back now, I think if I had indeed got a job somewhere, I would have been stuck there for my lifetime, is what I think now. But back then, definitely, I mean, it's not so easy to jump directly. It wasn't easy. And it was not even the plan for a month or so. After that is when I was like, okay, I can't do this because interview setup is completely different. Like not like this interview. Under pressure, they ask you, what do you see in 5 years? I couldn't lie to them that I want to start my practice. If I said that, they would
Yeah.
take me, right? So that was a very something like an ethical dilemma to face the interviews, which I couldn't figure out. And
Okay.
I think that's a big.
And did you turn down any offers that offered a really good package?
No. I think two. both of them I didn't get through the interviews.
Okay, okay. I get it. I get it.
No regrets
So,
then.
yeah, I see you being very happy in this place. So I feel that you have taken the right decision.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I totally understand that when you start up your own practice, you need some courage and some encouragement or some support, right? So, what gave you or who gave you that support, and how is it going right from then?
Yeah, it's a brilliant question. Actually, this is where I think I would have to thank the firm where I did my articleship, right? MSSB and Co. All three of us, the partners or co-founders, Saprabha and Sabtu, all come from the same firm
Yeah.
articleship. And the kind of support those people have given us is like next level, where they encourage it. You,
Hmm.
whatever happens, there is some MSSB backup kind of a place for us
Okay.
employment, or they used to give us some part of work that they generally don't accept even now, right? Even if there's any doubt, or I mean, initially what used to happen was we didn't even know what price to quote or things like that.
Yeah.
Such small assignments was okay even if it went out, or some corporate asking us to quote, we were clueless what to quote for service. So like
Hmm.
easily reach out to them, and that was like, I mean, I don't think something can replace that kind of support. Of course, parents,
Yeah.
I mean, we have been lucky that they didn't ask any questions, because if they, I think maybe they thought that if they cleared CA on their own, I mean, on their own sense, maybe in the first round, they could achieve what they want. They would have some maturity level to decide for themselves. So no questions asked. They told whatever you want to do. So both of this, I think, helped a lot for us in the initial years.
Okay, so I understand the fact that even your parents were supportive about your decision,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I am pretty sure they are very happy to see you growing, and they must be very happy that they supported you as, and they are supporting, and they will be supporting. Now, one thing that I just wanted to check with you is that the moment you get into practice, so how do you think someone can gauge clients? Because ICA has given a lot of restrictions on advertisement. We cannot just portray and say that, you know what, I'm giving this service. You cannot label yourself outside in the market. So how do you think someone can get clients or market themselves without these medium or the digital platforms that we have these days?
Yeah, I think, yeah, definitely no. The most of the CAs don't even try marketing. So
Yeah.
I would say more than 75% of our clients today have come through reference. So I,
Okay.
instead of trying to beat the ICI with respect to marketing, most of them put some consulting firms or some
Yeah.
way of soliciting client. I think if your customer is happy, he himself will be a marketing person as well. He will refer a multiple other set of clients as well. So that has really worked. We didn't, actively do any marketing in the past.
Mm.
It's been most of the ways, most of the times of the customers referring us as such. And one also thing is to build your brand, right? So if
Yeah.
so, I mean, there is no absolutely no restriction in building your brand. So people who know maybe famous in IDT today in Bangalore, right? So he has not done any kind of illegal things. Just focused on that IDT department and reached to the level he has. So once that is done, there is no backing out. But in the initial years, it is easier said than done. I mean, we cannot. Nobody would know me. Not even my friends recognize me as an expert in any field. So, but the process is a continuous process. Initially, the clients help, your friends help, refer somebody, and all that. That
Yeah.
helps in the initial phases. After that, I think it's the brand that you, for yourself, the personal brand, right? So if you continuously focus on the knowledge development, I think that works out.
Okay. Since you spoke about brand value, right? So what do you think are the factors that add a brand value to a CA firm?
That is so. I think mostly, right. The brand value. I don't know. It's somehow preconceived that the team size is some
Mm,
that if you're, if I am an extremely smart person but doing the work all alone, right, or one more article, just
mm, yeah.
even if my quality is of, I mean, service is of top notch quality, the brand value isn't that much. So I think headcount, I mean, of course, the headcount has to be smart enough to deliver the service. That is one way. But and also what matters is the knowledge level. I think the balance of these two, right?
Yeah.
How quickly you can turn around, how much your team knows, along with if your team is actually big and things like that, good enough to render top notch service. So I think these four things personally is what I think. So nothing can beat the knowledge base.
Yeah. So what according to you is success? Since you're into startup firms, so what is success to you?
Not high enough. So
I don't
success.
think so. It's a difficult question to answer. You must be having all the plans, like what I'm going to
No, no.
do down the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So maybe till CA success. I mean, I think this definition keeps changing, but at least for
Yeah.
maybe 5 years back, if you'd asked me, I would have said become CA fast or earn money, things like that. But now I think if in if everyone in the firm in the office is happy, right, like happy with what they're doing most of the time, not every time. It's very
Mhm.
almost impossible to keep everyone happy every time in an office setup. I'm saying from the work and all that. And also if they are happy with their pay, right? I think pay is something that is very important. I mean, there are a lot of philosophies that pay doesn't matter, but I don't below that. At the end, it all comes down to that. So
Yeah.
they're happy with what they're doing most of the times, and in most of the cases, if they're happy with what they're paid, right? Even including us, even at owner level. And if those both happens, I think it will be success rather than trying to. I don't think I would define success based on a revenue thing or
Mm.
based on some headcount. I would rather go with these two simple metrics where if people look forward to Monday or at least Tuesday after a Monday to come and work and enjoy the place and having a decent amount of net worth with them, money basically, then I
Mm.
think the success for the firm as a whole.
So as long as you're happy with what you get and what you serve people and the quality work that you give to people is success to you.
Yeah, I think in addition to that, maybe because CA firm is also look like a training firm, right? Because we help future CAs or we
Yeah.
it's both ways, but at least what gives us immense happiness is looking our own articles or looking our
Mm.
teammates grow in their career as well.
Oh,
It,
that's great.
I don't think I would have had this in my head 3 years back, but now when we actually see them, maybe even if they leave our job and get a better paying job, a better position at some other company, we are actually happy. In the first 1 or 2 months when they actually tell us that they are leaving, maybe it is little difficult,
Tough to
but
hear. Yeah.
the partners in MSS were happy for us today. So that is the not success I would say maybe, but that is something that gives a lot of happiness to see your own people get into much.
Yeah.
This one, yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear. And so now, the moment you started your own CA firm, so you might have decided to build a team, right? So now, what are the challenges that you faced while building a team, and what are the prerequisites that you had that, these are the qualities that we're looking out from a candidate? So if you could give us some insights about it.
Initially, I would say most of the answers have changed in the last 2 3 years. Initially,
Okay.
in the first year, because we were too tiny, we were just three partners and 1 or 2 people. The visibility was very less. So at that time, our flexibility or our tolerance level was much higher because there should, I mean, as much as we want them, right, they should also want us. They
Hmm.
want to work with us, right? So I would say as we have been growing, the most important thing that at least we look out for is the ownership. uh, uh,
Hmm.
right? If somebody is able to, because right now most of the information is available online freely if you just can Google, right? So if they are able to demonstrate that quick learning thing with that ownership, right? Because most of our hires are articles. We know how we were when we joined.
Yeah.
Thing. We just wrote some exams and cleared. We had absolutely zero practical experience. We didn't know Excel, nothing, right? So expecting that, I think, is definitely not the way. But if the candidate is able to demonstrate some kind of ownership, right? If we give him a particular task, at least he will tell it is done or take complete responsibility for what it is. It's little difficult to assess this. We haven't mastered it either, but I think this is hash one for me, as for us at this moment. Because as we grow, if they are coming to us for every little thing, right? That is not the reason why we would have hired them or taken. If they're able to figure it out, that's a huge plus for me. Even if they don't know, it's okay. But if they're able to figure it out and can get it done, I think this is one. Other than that, I think they should be. I don't know if that makes sense. They should be as self-motivated as possible, rather than us having
Yeah.
keep pushing and for them, right? Because at least that is one quality I think most of us had during our articleship time, that we were not trying to please the boss or just get the work done. We are always trying to learn something out of each assignment, clear CA faster. We were in that game to come out of this study phase as soon as possible. I think if that is there, not just from a work environment perspective, but also from studies and things like that, right? Because I think this is more or less what we are looking for. Not. I mean, definitely we don't check too much into the knowledge thing because more
Okay.
uh, basic knowledge is, I think, good enough.
Okay, that's so wonderful to hear because you're looking out for someone who takes the ownership and who's self-motivated and who can contribute to the organization, right? So a lot of times, what I have noticed is they look from a technical aspect. So if a person who has cleared CA final examination and if they can just take some inputs from the books and then they submit all these answers, they feel that they're knowledgeable, right? So I think your perspective is completely different from what is happening in the market right now, and it's just good to hear as well.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so I understand. Okay, you got people into your firm, and then how do you think you retain the employees in your organization? Because right now, a lot of them are facing issues in retaining the employees because the moment they get a different offer, much better than the current or the existing place, they try to move. The attrition rate has been quite difficult to the market. So, what is your view on that, and how is your firm retaining the employees? What are some of the tips and tricks that you want to share with people?
From retention, I think point of view, we have done one or two things differently from the potential jump or the other company that we would want, right? So one is to completely empathize with that person. When I mean, because we have that articleship experience so close to it's been just 3.5 years since we completed article. So I'm referring to that each every time, but what I'm trying to say is whatever problems we faced, right? Or like if we put ourselves into their position, maybe for me personally, getting a leave during article was very tough, or working extended hours was not something I enjoyed every day. So I could easily list 5 things during that time that I wish changed. If you're able to
Mm,
implement and completely empathize with this, because at the end, even nobody likes to be working for 20 hours or for 15 hours a day for a week, right?
yeah.
So if you're able to empathize on that, but because we also don't have like back then, or maybe people expect a handful amount of stipend. Maybe we were tripping about maybe that we should have, we are working so much, we're just getting this much.
Yeah.
Or maybe we thought maybe once in a year trip would be better. So we implement things like that now, which is definitely because the decision making is concentrated with us now. We are able to take it faster and as per our requirement when we were doing art, whatever we thought was not going right, we are able to. I'm sure there will be a lot of new demands or new expectations that are coming up. But at least if we know if we were in their position, if we would be happy, that is one thing, right? Completely empathizing. Other is I think the trust or trust factor, I would say, if we are that relating to that ownership point that I made, right?
Yeah.
Once we hire them, I mean, obviously we should do our due diligence when we are hiring the candidate, and not to say that everyone will be a rock star and all that. But if we are able to trust what they are doing, and instead of completely micromanaging, asking them what is every day, right? There are
Yeah.
so initially, even work from home was never a option or not something that a CA firm was giving. But thanks to COVID, it has happened now. So even
Yeah.
continue that if somebody is not feeling, even it be it the reason, we don't even ask the reason, but even if the reason is for they're just lazy to get up and the office commuting, all this definitely 1.5 hours extra, right? Getting the dinner. Even if something like that, if you're absolutely not even asking what is the reason, and just give an example of work from home. But if you are able to demonstrate that level of trust that they will do the work wherever they are, right? That is one change
Yeah.
that has been happening. And start at 10, 11, or 12 doesn't even matter if the work is done, right? Because most of the days or even they stretch after the office hours. So it's not like if they start at 10, they're leaving at 6. Even if they start at 12, they might work till 8, whatever. So if the getting work done, if it's happening, I think there is no need to micromanage. So since both of this is giving them good place to work in, good.
Yeah. So it's about a good environment that you have created for your
Yeah,
employees
I
that
would
make
say
them feel secured, flexible, and also happy about being in that place.
correct,
Oh,
correct.
that's wonderful to hear. And since you spoke about micromanagement, I accept with your point that when you start focusing on micromanagement, you will never have your employees working for you.
Yeah, yeah,
That's very true. That's very true.
yeah, yeah.
And so, since you're into CA practice since more than 3 years, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, three, 3.5.
Yeah, 3 to 3.5 years.
Yeah, sure.
So, what is a typical break-even period for a CA firm?
So when we started, we invested quite a lot of money in good office space, which can accommodate 15, 20. So we were little futuristic kind of a thing. So that was some big cost, the fixed monthly rental cost, and even the interior, this one, right? Other than that, typically being the service industry, right, the fixed costs are very minimal and very much predictable. So to get that, I was not a big challenge, right? Even in maybe in a quarter or two, we'll be able to break even from a fixed cost perspective. I would say the challenge is what do you mean by break even? If the three partners that we are, if we are able to draw market salary from the firm, like
Yeah.
firm friends are earning X amount of money. If all of us are able to draw that and then become break even, right? I think
Hmm.
that I mean we haven't been still, but I think that will take good 3 to 5 years. Where I mean I'm basically adding our salary into the fixed cost, basically.
Okay.
So yeah. So if you're just looking at, because initially when we are not bothered about if we are doing something, we are just worried about if we are able to meet salaries, stipends, rent, other expenses. If that much earnings we had, that is somehow easy to get, because that is not quite a lot. Because service industry, most of it is into
Yeah.
manpower, and even articles, right? They are very good resources at very less stipend, right, compared to other fields. That way, it was not a challenge. I think the challenge is definitely to reach to a stage where we are able to achieve at least equal to our peers, maybe in Big Four or whatever, right? So that
Yeah.
I will take 3 to 5 years.
Okay, so you're actually adding the salary which is equal to the market structure of the peers, right? So that's a
Just
good way of analyzing, not only
I
considering the cost of the company plus your partner's salary
exactly
as well.
because ultimately we also have to uh,
Yeah.
uh,
I think that's a
motivate and all that.
wonderful point that you added over here. I totally appreciate that. Since you have the experience of giving finance advisory to a lot of startups, can you just define us how they are successful? And at the same time, we have another set of startups who are failing at the same time, right? So can you just differentiate both of them and say what factors are adding to the successful startups and what factors are adding to the failure of the startups?
Yeah, I think I think the successful startups have figured out their unit economics. I mean, what I mean is, if you take Zomato or any
Hmm.
online delivery apps for that example, right? If they're able to be, I mean, if the entire Zomato has to be profitable, they have to be profitable in each order, at least on the
Hmm.
majority of orders. If they're I mean, I wouldn't say Zomato. I don't know. We are too early to decide whether Zomato is successful or not. But definitely, I'm sure if it has to become profitable any day in the future, each order, or at least the majority of the orders, have to be profitable for them, right? I think
Hmm.
there are a few companies which have figured it out how to be, not from a delivery thing, I'm saying from a unit economics perspective. So if that happens, I think that is one quick way to I mean, at least for me, that would be, I mean, success is definitely more about profits than revenue and other things
Yeah, you're right.
coming out that way, at least very lately. But now it is moving from revenue as a parameter to profitability and all those things. So to become profit, I think you have to go drill down and go to that one each order and see how we can make that profitable. I think if we are able to figure that out, and nothing like that, then also I think understanding the customers, right? So if they are able to exactly know what the customer is willing to pay for, like if I mean, unless they're overcharging, most of the B2C people in India are willing to pay for some things in India, right? So if there is worth, there's definitely business to be made, because the population itself is ever growing, more than 100 crore. So I think
Yeah.
able to understand that sentiment, I think. But I think I wouldn't be able to give a very general answer in this. But this is my take on how I would see a company as successful from a startup point of view.
Okay. And the other side of the
Uh,
factor where like you have to see the failures, right? If it's startups who are failing. So what are the factors that are contributing for their failure?
Yeah, I think one definitely is unreasonable customer acquisition cost, right? The
Mm.
cost they are incurring in marketing or the discounts, offers, and multiple things. Because we are able to relate to B2C quite more, but it's the same in B2B as well, where they spend a lot of amount in just converting one sale, whereas
Yeah.
lifetime value, the money that the customer will be paying you over his lifetime, is lesser than that. So it doesn't make sense. It is actually going down to the unit economic point. But if you are spending way too much just to acquire one customer, you must also realize that the moment it turns profitable, you will have a competitor who is able to
Yeah.
pay in another discount and take him away. So unless you have that figured out where you are able to ensure that the lifetime value of the customer, basically what the customer is paying you over his lifetime, if unless that is more than the cost that you're paying to acquire him, right, directly from marketing and discount and things like that, right, then I think that is a recipe for failure that I have seen over the past. So unreasonably high
Cost.
cost, yeah, fixed cost. So that ultimately is your base. I mean, so far it has been good because of all the funding that has come and all that. So once it dries up, people don't know how to make profit, and then there's no more money to spend, right? So yeah, I would say that is the harsh reality, but I think that is what I think it is.
Okay. And if you also notice these days, we have multiple options outside in the market to raise funds. As a startup today, if I want to raise funds, I can go by way of crowdfunding. I can reach out to people who is ready to give me funding. So now, as a startup, do you think it is good to take the funds from outside market? And if yes, what is the return that someone will expect in the market? What is the ideal average? I know it depends on the various sector, but let's assume that it's a service sector like CA firm. When we go out and ask for funding in the market, what is the typical percentage that an investor expects?
By funding, you are referring to any source of funding, is it?
Yes, I not debt, but the crowdfunding and
Okay,
also yeah,
equity kind of a thing.
equity. Yes.
I think the expectation is definitely higher when it comes to equity, but as in a service industry, I am not able to understand why there will be a requirement for funding, right? Because fundraising largely matters when you are trying to scale a lot and all that
Yes.
thing, marketing and all those things. At least from a CF perspective, it is always best, I would say, if you are able to run the show with the customer's money, customer funding you, basically customers fees funding you. But from an equity, even if at all, let's say not a CF firm, but still want to make it big,
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say equity definitely the risk they are taking is pretty high. So they would want, I think at least 20% of return, because it's not, maybe they would invest in 100 companies, only 10 of them or even one of them might succeed. To overcome that 99 failures that they have, their expectation I think is extremely high. That is why
Okay.
reason I think 20% might be very much on a lower side, I would say, because that you get more or less get in the equity market itself, right? Or other capital market instruments today. But when they're actually investing in one company as in the form of equity directly, right? I think the expectations are very high. That is also one reason why I think whatever comes, I would not be taking some, because that also puts a lot of pressure, right? If you're not able to justify every year, they're expecting 25-50% of returns and such high.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think as I said, it varies from industry, but I think that's something north of 25% or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
Typically ranging between
yeah, yeah.
20 and 25 percentage. Let's say that I want to raise funds. So I am a startup. I don't have any history of revenues, net worth calculation, and all of the P&L statement. So now, as a fresher, if I want to start off with a company and then want to raise funds, so how do you think I should value the company in order to give the details to the investor and say that no, boss, this is my valuation. Will you be able to fund me? So, what is your take on that? How do you value?
Yeah, so scientifically, I think there are a lot of valuation methods, right? You would have heard of discounted cash,
Yeah.
multiple revenue, multiple things like that. I think, I mean, these are definitely few of the ways to reach out what you want to try to demonstrate your investors. But I think it finally boils down to how confident. I mean, let's say you say investor presentation or a meeting, right? I think mostly they're not judged on these technically calculated numbers. They're more because we can project any number and get any number as the value. But
Yeah.
investors mostly look for what the person is and how capable he is, right? Or what,
Yeah.
how determined he is to take the company forward. I mean,
Oh,
I think take Kunal Shah for example, right? He built free charge and got a nice exit. When he started Cred, even without even he, I don't think he would have taken his projections or anything. Just that because Kunal Shah is the one who is starting a business, there are thousands of people ready to invest because that's
okay.
brand in itself. Because maybe Kunal Shah is not the right example here, but if there is somebody who is so passionate about building the brand and building that business, right? I think the value significantly increases. So it is more of that the person starting up, he has to figure it out based on his calculations rather than trying to do it in a very scientific, legal, legal.
Okay, so you're saying that though finance is a part of the investment calculation, what they look more into the qualities of the
Yeah.
founder and the team, how
Yes.
far they are looking to take this company forward, and what is their vision. So their qualities really matter a lot.
Yeah, quality is one, and second one maybe the total addressable market, right? How big the market is. This is a very
Demand, yeah.
important problem. Obviously, even if the founder is not so good, but the problem is very good, maybe it will go in sync. Or
Okay.
maybe very small problem, but Kunal Shah is trying to solve, but it may not go well. I think a mix balance of this. Maybe I missed something as well. I'm not able to think instantly, but I think these two factors are definitely what decides the valuation of.
Valuation. Okay, so the qualities cannot be defined by numbers. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
totally accept
Yeah.
that. And so when it comes to startups, so do you think debt is good? So we have investment equity one side and we have debt. So do you think debt is good to a company?
I think most startups today, I mean, this equity form of investment is making all the headlines.
Yeah.
We never see somebody having raised a bank loan and coming in the newspaper, right? So people think it is not the cool way to succeed, or somehow the notion is like that. But I would any day suggest for debt, right? Because you're not giving any of your ownership. You are just committing to an interest percentage of interest payment and the repayment. There is no other commitment that you're making, not giving away any equity. So that is definitely, I think it should be the first way, first
Okay.
before you're trying for equity. But the problem here is most startups, I mean, when you're trying for debt, the first thing they ask is for your last 3 year ITR.
Yeah.
What is your revenue? What is your profit? That is where I think the problem is. Not the problem, that is where the challenge is. Where unless you are able to demonstrate that profitability or track record of for 2 3 years, nobody is ready to fund you. So that is when I think some of them move to equity, because there the questions they asked is very different from what the banks will definitely ask you. So there's a mix, but if you're able to raise fund under a debt instrument, I think it's always better. If not, is when I think we should think about equity. These days, I think I also want to mention about there's something called debt-based financing, revenue-based financing. Sorry, so revenue-based financing gives you loans just based on your revenue multiples. So it's not
Okay.
not seeing whether you are profitable or not, and even your repayment is based on how much revenue you are earning in that month. Maybe every month you pay 20% of your revenue as a repayment all around. There are attractive schemes that are coming up more in the US, lesser in India, because we
Yeah.
in that traditional mindset when it comes to banking channels. But there are alternatives, but it's very difficult to reach that, to access that at this moment. I think within India, that must be one reason why people are moving more towards equity. But
Okay.
but to answer your question straight, I think debt is before equity. That is just something to consider about.
Okay. Okay. So debt is more preferable than equity. Is what is
Yeah.
your view on
Yeah.
this?